And most of the men that don't like me using the word are old, dumb, and full of cum. They are taking the and they're in your pulpits right now.
Greetings, y'all, and welcome to Seek Things Above TV. I'm your host, Lou Ciccone. So Tiphani Montgomery has decided to double down on using foul language. She tries to use some sort of weird explanation here that basically says that somehow God has given her permission to do so. So we're going to get into that in a second. If y'all like content like this, y'all know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. But without further ado, let's hop into these clips and we'll comment on these as we go along.
Oh, let me say this. I love that somebody just said this. Let me say this. Somebody said, Tiphani, you shouldn't be cussing in the pulpit. And I remember when I first saw somebody say that, I was like, Lord, I know I am not a cussing woman because I left that at the cross. I do not cuss. I don't say none of the cuss words. And I was like, why do these people keep saying I'm cussing? And then I realized that people consider, when I say you pissed me off, they consider pissed off a cuss word. And then I realized people considered the word dick a curse word. And now let me say this. You might not like the words piss off or dick, right? You might not care for that word, and you may feel like I could use a better word to give my examples. But the truth is, men and women of God, those aren't bad words. It's just not a bad word. You might not like the word, but it's not a bad word. It's not a curse word.
So she is very comfortably saying these words and basically just acting as though there's completely nothing wrong with her using the word and giving this odd justification that says, okay, the word is just the word, and somehow, hey, this is not a bad word because this is what it means. Now, the reason why we all know that that's a bunch of nonsense is because I can guarantee you that if she was in the presence of certain dignitaries, right, or in the presence of a world leader, a president, somebody very important, there is no way that at a dinner table or at a discussion that she's going to feel free to use this word. And so if it is not a bad word, why does she feel free to use it in a format that is in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people, in front of her audience of many people who follow her on various platforms? Why does she feel free to use that? It is because she feels that she is above the scriptures. That's essentially what it is. Without her realizing that, that's what she is really showing us at the end of the day. Because if it's clear in the text, if it is clear in the text that God has spoken to us about how we ought to conduct ourselves, how we ought to speak, if that is clear in the scriptures, and you claim to be hearing something in your head that tells you that it is okay to use that language, then what you need to recognize at that point is that whatever is coming in your head is not from God. Because God is not going to say one thing in the scriptures and then in another way give you this so-called direct revelation or whatever it is you think that he's putting in your head that is allowing you and giving you confirmation and affirming you as you use this language. That is just not how God operates. God is not going to contradict his word in order to make Tiphani Montgomery or anyone else feel good about what they're doing if those things are against his explicitly written word for us to follow.
I would also say that in the context that I used the word dictum is because most of us, not all of us, some of y'all had good godly common sense, but not all of us. Some of us were dictum. That's why right now you're trying to get back 5, 10, 15, and 20 years of your life because you were in a destiny-destroying relationship because you were dictum. Now, could I use the word penis? Yes, but to be very honest with you, we weren't penis dumb. Penis means that you had good godly common sense. You had good godly character. You had good godly self-control. It means that you had a responsible man that loved you, cared for you, cherished you. He had the fear of the Lord. Penis means that you were married. He's not even gonna play you and have sex with you outside of marriage. Penis means that nobody can be penis dumb.
As somebody who seems to be very articulate and good at communicating what she wants to communicate, I'm sure that she could find other ways to say what she is saying. And this is one of those classic cases where you might be describing something that is accurate, but the way you're describing it is causing people to not receive it in a good way. So if you're talking about women who have been carried away by certain men and were taken in by lust for these guys, or just feeling like they were in love, and all the things that are attached to that, right? Even attaching self-worth to really worthless men, right? If you want to describe all of that, and which is a real thing that happens, right? It also happens to guys too. But if you want to describe all that, you can do so. But to claim that you have to use this word in order to truly bring the meaning out of what you're trying to say, to me, it's obviously deceitful on her part, because we can see that she's able to communicate in so many ways. And then it's again that sense in which she feels entitled to say these things and to do so in this manner, because she thinks that somehow God has given her special permission that other people just do not have. And actually, God, more so, God is allowing her to act contrary to the character of a Christian in order to fulfill the ministry that she feels she's been given.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody's penis dumb. You can only be dick dumb. Dick dumb means you're stupid. You gave your body over to somebody you knew was cheating on you, knew didn't want you, knew was playing in your face. Dick dumb mean that you will fight everybody except for the man that's cheating on you. You know, dick, you know what I'm talking about. So I get it, you guys. I understand. You do not like me using this word, but it's not going to stop me from using the word. So you should probably just move on. And most of the men that don't like me using the word are old, dumb, and full of cum. They are taking the dick, and they're in your pulpits right now. They're preaching to you, and they're leaving off of the pulpit, having sex with other men. And they are filled with the creamy substance, and now they want to come on live and talk about me.
When you are dealing with people who feel that they are leaders of certain movements, and it's usually these sort of cultic movements and movements that are led by false teachers, these people feel as though the rules somehow don't apply to them. And in trying to deflect from the issue at hand, she now twists and turns the subject towards preachers who she accuses of being involved in improper relations with men, and now saying that that is the real issue that's going on. That's the bigger issue that's going on. And therefore, y'all need to get off my case, because whatever I'm doing is not as bad and is not bad at all. But what they're doing is really wicked. And even if though that is the case, that does not take away from the fact that what she's doing is harmful to the listeners. And also it is sinful for her to be engaged in. But false teachers always find a way to justify what they're doing. And this is a manipulation tactic right here. This is a tactic here where she is trying to get your attention off of the main topic here, off of the main conversation, which is her foul mouth, and she's twisting that. And even as she explains what she's explaining, she's very vulgar in the way that she is addressing this so-called straw man argument that she is creating here.
So I'll say it again. It's not a curse word. God has not convicted me about using the word. When he does, I will stop. But until then, I will continue to use the word in the context in which I use it in, because there have been many people that have been delivered from being dictum because of this ministry. And I will continue to deliver the masses from dangerous dick. I'm just going to do it. So you'll just have to excuse me. And God is not mad at me about it. And as you continue to make your YouTubes about me and your TikToks about me, just make sure you include the men on the pulpits that are being rammed up the buttocks by dick. With that being said, I would like to tell all of you my salvation story and how I got saved.
Even if it were true that she has the freedom to use whatever manner of speech that she feels is befitting of the situation, even if that were true, once you see that your speech is affecting other people, or it is causing a hindrance to the gospel, causing a hindrance to your witness as a believer, at that point when you see that, that's when you know that, hey, you know what? I may have freedom to do what I'm doing, or I may think I have freedom to do what I'm doing, but if the result is I am not building my brothers and sisters up by what I'm doing, then I should find a way in order so I can serve them and I can serve the Lord more faithfully. I need to find a way to do what I'm doing differently or say what I'm saying differently. And that is the posture of somebody who's supposed to be a leader. At the end of the day, what she does, it's not for her. Okay, as a teacher or as a preacher, what you're doing is not for you, and it's not to make you feel good. It's not to make you feel puffed up. It is all about serving God and being a teacher that honors his word. And if that is the case, then you have to be willing to lay aside what you actually think are things that you're free to do and that you may even have formed convictions about, if those things are not building up the people of God. So what we're seeing really is this display of pride that also shows this selfishness to think that the entire ministry and what she does is about her. And as long as she feels good about what she's doing, then it is okay for her to do it. And then to always, as she does, and these false teachers do, claim that God has put his stamp on what she is doing. Yet, everything she's doing is against his word. So at that very point, we know that she's acting contrary to his word, and this is just essentially a rogue ministry where there's this person at the top of it doing what they're doing for their own benefit and really just misleading a lot of people, particularly women in this case, who follow her. So mark and avoid Tiphani Montgomery's ministry. Do not be deceived by this nonsense and by this person who is willing to even go outside of scripture and go against the scripture to justify what she feels she ought to do. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear from y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. All right. God bless y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.